Please come forward, guys. عمار تعال. I have like a special discussion with you. Come at the front. Block it. Come at the front. Abu Sulaiman. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Firstly, I would say Mubarak Abu Sulaiman. We say it at the beginning of the gathering, and inshallah, we'll highlight it more at the end of the gathering, inshallah. This occasion has inspired me personally, and that's something, by the way, we have discussed it some time ago. That inshallah, I would say we set it as a policy. Anyone get married or anyone have a child from our youth, inshallah, will be having a special occasion for them, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because I believe marriage and children, we are going as a community through a crisis. Our youth, they don't want to get married, and the result of no marriage is no children anyway. And if someone, he gets convinced to get married, for somehow, say no children. Okay? So I think we decided, inshallah, as a UMC, we want to take a part, play a role on fixing this problem. And part of fixing it, we want to make each and every one of us, or any one of our youth, he's getting married or having baby, to feel proud of what he has done, what he is doing, and what he's going to do. For this, inshallah, this occasion, to encourage those who are single to get married, like Hamza, and those, inshallah, they got married, not to have only one child, Ibrahim, inshallah, to have multiple, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me ask you a simple question. I will ask a simple question to each one sitting here. How many siblings you have? Just each one. Oh, anyone here? He's the only one? He's the only one for his father and mother. He's the only child. Anyone? So alhamdulillah. All of us here, I'm a siblings of how many? We are 6. Ibrahim, how many? You 2 only? Or sisters, brothers? Okay. Faizan, 2. This is the minimum, we have 2, I think, here. Ammar, how many? 3. How many? 3. Ayan, how many? 2. How many, how many dad?
5.
4. What's 4?
4 siblings.
4 siblings, including you is 5. Alhamdulillah, 8. Allahumma barik. I'm saying 11. Anyone 11? 11? Your siblings? Allahumma barik. He's going to be our example, our model for today, inshallah. So,
Hamza, you?
I told you 6.
Oh, 6.
We have 6. I told my dad, he's siblings of 11. Same. And 3 of my uncles, one of them he got 14 children, and the other one 11 children, and the other one 12 children. So it's alhamdulillah, I'm not just saying, if you ask your dad, he will tell you I'm a siblings of at least 5, 6 plus. If you ask your grandfather, he will tell you as a siblings. Sheikh, how many siblings? 7. Allahumma barik. And your dad? Do you remember how many siblings there? How many uncles and aunts? Only 12? 2, only 2. So it was the opposite of the. But wallahi, I'm saying, look at our community now, especially the Muslim community. Of course, we are not talking about non-Muslim society here, but let's focus on our community, our youth. If I ask each one of you how many children you want to have in the future, of course, the first question should be, are you planning to get married? As soon as I advise any of the boys, do you want to get married? No. Wallah, as if I'm hitting him or like stabbing him in his face. How many children do you want to have? 2 or 4? Anyone? Faizan? What? 7? Allahumma barik. From one wife?
Not too deep.
Anyone who would like to have only one? Everyone want to have multiple? Allahumma barik. Alhamdulillah, so no need for the lectureship. Allahumma barik. So the theme or the topic for today, and that is going to be a question to our Sheikh, Imam Adam, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for coming to travel all the way from Sydney to Canberra, from Callan to took you 25 minutes, Sheikh, to come. Yes.
Yeah, 27.
27. Sheikh
Probably
Adam,
longer for you.
Alhamdulillah, how many children do you have?
6.
6 children. And Alhamdulillah, all of you children have born on reasons straight. That's right?
Actually, I don't know how many children I have. Some of them are here. To me, honestly, my children are those people, who drink the milk of Islam from my breast.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu
Honestly,
Akbar.
because all the blood ties is nothing but a tree, and a tree is useful only when it provides food. But to me, anyone who can be touched by the Islamic I have, I live in them, because the blood doesn't really mean much.
Allah.
I even tell this to my own kids. Look, I'm teaching many people in the world. I have kids everywhere, and anyone who takes from me what Allah gave to me, this is my child.
Okay, I'll begin this inshallah, and feel free to raise your hand and ask question. We'll begin inshallah this gathering with it's 2 questions, combination of 2 questions. Do you advise them to get married? Number 1. And this question has some branches. Do they need to get married? Islamically, do we have to get married? Alhamdulillah, I have got married. The one is single, which is majority of them single at this stage. Do they have to get married? And after they get married, do they have to have children? These are 2 questions that I've received personally. And one of the youth after they got married, he said, do I have to have children? He said, Islamically, he said, if Islam says yes, I have to have, then I will have. If I don't have to have, then I will chill with my wife alone. So Sheikh, Bismillah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Do we have to get married? It is a nature, and the answer is up to you. But doing your nature is a promise that you will continue. Marriage becomes compulsory when I feel like I need the opposite gender. If you don't get married, you will go to the opposite gender through one of the ways Allah hates the most. And he even told us don't even go close to it. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. If somebody say, look, I don't have feeling towards women, I have my reason for that, you just went against the sunnah of the nature and the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam.
Sallallahu alayhi wa
But
sallam.
some people have reasons they don't want to get there. Only they have the reason and they don't have to tell the people why. There is a book named Al-Ulama Al-Uzzab, the bachelor scholars. One of them Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Nawawi, and others. They don't get married. But how many kids they have in this dunya? All the students of knowledge are their children. That was their personal decision, and you can't force somebody to get married. But once I feel like if I don't get married, I will do the haram, then it becomes wajib, compulsory to open the door. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab, O young people, man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. Any one of you capable, physically, mentally, financially, socially, to get married, the Prophet said, do it. And if you cannot do that yet because you don't have the financial means, all of this, help yourself with fasting. Fasting will slow down or narrow the highway of the sexual feeling in our body. Because food is what makes us crazy sometimes, especially the type of food we eat nowadays.
Spicy.
Spicy. anyway, how to say it really, fasting make our desire less. But if we eat and eat and eat, sometimes we just forget and but the answer is that it is sooner to get married. And I have seen one ad one day saying that. What is the ad saying? Why you are so happy all the time? It's not fair. You have to go and get married. When you get married, everything will become divided because your life will be divided into 2 in every matter. It doesn't matter. You know, sometimes you can give your whole life to someone who deserves it, And the Arabs said long time ago, ليس من الصعب أن تضحي من أجل صديقك ولكن الصعب أين تجد هذا الصديق الذي يستحق هذه التضحية. It is not hard to sacrifice for somebody, but what is hard is to get someone who deserves that sacrifice. And believe me, we have peace of mind and tranquility in three things the Quran says. One of them, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ. Night is a cave of resting for us. To have a peace of mind, we use the night to sleep. Sometimes we're suffering mentally or whatever reason because we don't sleep. We spend the whole night maybe searching the internet or talking to some people, and then we deprive our body from giving it a rest. We need to sleep every night. Allah made it, but if you don't sleep during the night, it can affect your health. Number two reason, to stay home. As I talking about the house. وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا. Allah made for you in your dwelling places second where you live and you feel like to be there. This is number two. And some people are suffering socially because they don't stay home, always out, and they lose their family life completely. And the other place to get the second, when I said that one, when people, you said to me, no, that's not true. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, the marriage. We live in a woman. As a man, we're just like a bird with one wing. Until we get married, the other wing comes, right? So we live in our wife. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Truly, a man will feel that it is worthy to live when you have the right woman in your life. And that's the one you need to look for. And once you get the right one, you will say, I made a mistake. Why didn't I get married a long time ago? So marriage is one way to get peace and truly.
I thought you said why I didn't get the second.
If you can pass that test, was number one. In another way, whatever Allah made as a nature is what we need. And a real man will be chasing a woman, not a man. We don't chase men. We'll be chasing a woman, right? And if I don't have feeling towards a woman, that means something wrong with me. I need to look for the healing process. But sometimes it is the person made the decision with that. I don't want to get married for whatever reason. You don't even need to tell the people why. But the Prophet said, if you're able to do so, you go for it. Because once you get married, you decide to look after somebody else's life. You decide to promise the human race who will continue because I'm getting married mean the fruit will come, which is, But the second question, do you have to have children? No, you don't have to. When it comes to that, Allah will decide to give you some or not. You cannot decide to have children. You cannot decide to have a boy or a girl. Lillahi mulku samawati wal ardi yakhluqu ma yasha yahabu liman yasha'u inathan wa yahabu liman yasha'u dhukur aw yuzawwijuhum dhukranan wa inatha wa yaj'alu man yasha'u aqima. Allah is the owner of the heaven and the earth and whatever in between, and whatever in there. He grant to whom he wish females. This is the blessing of having girls. And he grant to whom he wish male. And he granted some of them mixed, boys and some people have boys and girls together. And he gave to some none. So to say, I will have children, don't ever say that. Rabbi Habli. And whenever to do with kids in the Quran, the word wahaba, yahabu, habli, wahabna is Allah only can give.
Actually, the question is here, saying, yes, we'll leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, using protection, not to have children, to make sure.
That is planning. It's not,
No. Someone, he want to use it forever, and he doesn't want to, and leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way, in practical way. So is that permissible? It's a question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because in the Prophet's time, the Sahaba said to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam about the azl. When you go with your wife and when the, what do you call it?
The time, the peak time or whatever.
They're coming,
Yeah.
you throw it outside there. Similar to using the in front of the cup. Effort. In French, I don't want to say that again. Anyway, using whatever to stop that.
See, what is the maqsad of A'mal al-Ard going to go? Like if all of our youth will say, I don't want to have children, then how this earth will continue? If everyone, none...
As we said, what is the hukm sharif? Birth planning different to birth stopping.
No, I'm talking about stopping.
Stopping, of course. I remember one lady back from when I went back to my village, that was, I don't remember the year, but then it was Eid al-Adha. We go from place to place to visit the elderly people.
Yeah.
And one of the sisters came also from the capital city, Ouagadougou. And she was going with the ladies also. And one of the elderly ladies said to her, Mariam, how many kids you have? And she said 2. He said, why 2? Let them out. If you keep them in, they will take your health away. It means birth is health. The nature, when we change it, we suffer. Woman's nature, woman is Allah's workshop and factory, and He uses His body to produce us. And when we abort that mission, women will lose their purpose in existence. Because the way that Allah describes the ladies in the Quran, Nisa'ukum harthul lakum fa'atu harthakum anna shi'tum. One side of the meaning of the ayah, woman gets like the earth. Everything fundamental in the earth. You just need to be a good farmer. It produces, and you can get from the earth diamond, gold, petrol, gas, corn, wheat, rice, whatever. You just be a good farmer. But simply, many diseases coming nowadays because we abort the nature that's supposed to be flowing in our life. You know, sometimes people take the tablet to avoid pregnancy, and this and that is not good for the woman body because it is against the nature. Having said that, planning the birth, it is up to the husband and the wife due to their personal circumstances. But to stop it, because that is against the nature.
Yeah, that will take me to a question, inshallah. I'll ask it after Faisal. Yeah.
Just to maybe rephrase the question that Brother Hamza asked. Let's say I get married tomorrow, for example, and I make the intention that I want to pursue a path of knowledge, for example, and I want to dream of just studying, and although I agree that we need to have children for the earth to populate and everything, as a decision that I'm making with my wife, and my wife's happy with it, that we are choosing that we don't want to have any children. This is a decision we're making as a joint decision. We're going to spend. No, we're not going to have any children. If it happens, it happens. But Allah, He gives the rizq at the end of the day. But as a decision, as a principle, we are not going to have any children, and we're going to do other things, maybe humanitarian or studies. Is it permissible for someone to go into a marriage with the acceptance and agreement with the wife to say, we are going to make the intention not to have any children, and if Allah gives us children, we will say Alhamdulillah?
You know, in general, Allah wants us to have the children. What the Prophet said, تزوجوا الودود الولود فإني مفاخر بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. Even when you want to get married, look for the woman who can have kids. There is a purpose for it. The Prophet wants his ummah to be more. And the more you give birth, the more you prove that, oh Allah, here you use me to pass life on to somebody else, and you work on that person. You work on your kids to be what you want to make other children to be. Instead of taking out somebody else's, and you can do it here. But if there is a maybe mental reason or medical reason or whatever to go against the nature that in which Allah made us, that sometimes it is a personal effort. To decide not to do so, what the Prophet said to these two men, when two of them said, I will never eat any day, I'm going to be fasting every day, and the other one said, I will never sleep, I will be praying the whole night, and the third one said, I will never get married. I just want to dedicate my life to God. And they forgot. Marriage is an ibadah, it is an act of worship. And that's what Allah told us how to do it. And to let the human race continue, we get married. If we don't, it means we're supporting some idea then And if everybody makes that decision up, what will happen to the human race will come to end. But simply, as I said in the end of the day, with a marriage, it can become compulsory or remain as a sunnah. Compulsory if you know that I will not get married, and also I will not go the wrong way, to fulfill my desire, the nature in me. When you are hungry, we go and eat food. When we are thirsty, we drink water. We have the same thirst and hunger towards, the other gender. If you can control that for whatever reason, marriage is not compulsory. It is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, but he told us to go for it. And if you don't, there must be a reason to stop us.
Right. The question, I will take a question with a comment at the same time. So, Sheikh, the boys, they have a genuine concern, and most of them, according to my opinion, and inshallah my opinion will be wrong, they plan their marriage the way they want. They have someone in mind, since maybe college or high school, they have someone in mind, or at least not in person, but as an idea, as a principle. I want this person from this certain background, certain culture, or certain look, certain color, which is the right of any boy, any man, to choose and decide what his future wife is going to look like. And then as soon he hit the age of the serious age of marriage, he will be facing the challenging of the mom. The mom, she really has been planning something for years and decades, since maybe he born. I have this in mind, maybe back home, or other girl, she's he. She for him, and the boy, as soon he has start hearing this, so I say, no way, I don't want to get married. So I want to forget about marriage, because this or none. So how our youth should deal with this? Should they follow their mother's opinion, or should they insist on their opinion, or what is the solution for that? It's difficult situation.
Not difficult, because this is a choice that you can make on your own. And the Prophet ﷺ, even with the ladies, even with the girls, he told the parents to interfere, to help them get the right man, but not to force them. If I cannot force my daughter, what about my son? But sometimes it is that people are suffering in the darkness of the culture, and sometimes the culture comes first before the deen. Parents can advise, but to force that, because love is not something you can force it flows. You cannot buy it, you can earn it only. But sometimes the parents can see what the young people cannot see. But in the end of the day, you can only be an advisor, but you can't force him to marry someone who his heart is not with, because love is a driving force. And when it's not there, sometimes something can happen, and then the parents, because of me, I forced them. The parents need to be educated. And as an imam for the last 30 years.
Fact, I'm talking about facts now.
I know, that's what I say, because I'm dealing with this every day. I can see. Sometimes the parents listen, and sometimes they don't hear. Look, now as a kid, we have this test now. Because with marriage, I want my mom and my dad to be on board, because it is a lifetime journey. It is a blessing, yeah? And imagine to celebrate it without them. After the nikah, you think, oh, what about my mom and dad? And especially if they don't want to forgive you, they can make you.
What's your advice to them, to the boys? Like,
you look, if it happens, you can just play with their emotion. And just say, look, I'm not going to get married anymore. You know why they make that decision? Because they love you and they want the best person for you. But sometimes their love is very tough, because the ways they think is different there.
so the kids are listening now.
But always just try to.
If you have, let's say African parents.
African?
If you have African parents, you say that they will kill you.
Because Africa, the culture is something different, completely. But even in Africa, if you are a student, they leave you alone. Otherwise, because in Maliki Mazhab, I must make sure I find a wife for my son. All of them, it is the right honors. And every son expecting that anyway. So the culture makes them, I'm waiting for my dad, I'm waiting for my, so it is understood here.
Yeah.
You know, and the people work together. That family, that family, and that's
Still, in Canberra, I'm saying, in Canberra, it does exist. And what is making it more confusing, Sheikh? Because this say it's mixed up community. Some families, they still have this culture. The father will decide. He's the one who will find the girl for his son. And the same from the same community, different families, they have the opposite. No, my daughter, she's free to choose. My son is free to choose. That's what is making it so hard and so confusing. And the boys, they have, I would say, easy access to the other gender, where back home it's hard, no access. The only access you will have, you have to wait outside the school just to see her for a second, and otherwise you have to run away. The brother will come and bash you if you look at his sister. So this I'm talking about here doesn't exist. So now when the boys are looking and seeing the girl, the heart start pumping. And when the heart pump towards the girl, women, no way this woman can go out. Even if the mom would do a surgery and to take it out, doesn't take it out. Even after you get married, you married the wife according to your mom's opinion, the previous girl will remain in your heart every time you remember her. So I wish, may Allah forgive you, my mom. So how they can navigate, I understand it's a very difficult situation. And many cases, many boys, they come to me and said, I want this girl, and my mom, she wants the other girl. What I gotta do? I'm not gonna get married. And he become 24, 25, 26, and he's going older and older and older, and the situation getting more difficult. So what's the solution? Can the boy, I always say, make your mom happy. Birrul walidain, make your mom happy. Never, and by the way, I always say, I trust the mothers. Even the mothers, they are not as practicing as you think. I trust moms. I trust mothers. Okay? That's a general statement. That's a general statement. I trust mothers. And make sure your mom happy when you get married. Otherwise, you're not going to live a peaceful life. Okay? But there is other cases. Some cases need a special fatwa, you can say, special treatment. And that you can come to the Sheikh in a personal level and seek his advice on that particular advice. Sheikh, what do you say about this?
To me, the most important process is this one. Never go into emotional ties with any girl before your parents know from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go too much into the relation and they're not aware. And when you tell them, it is a shock and they already planned. So make sure before you go in, it is emotion. Remember, the first love, it is emotion, not reality yet. It is emotional ties. And our system and our being inclined to this same thing. That's why Islam, we have to slow down and make sure, before I go too deep into that emotional ties, my mom and dad are away from the beginning of the journey. So if they're against, you still can do something about it. But sometimes when you go too far, don't keep it secret from them. Because once you do that, they believe their choice is the best for you.
So take your mom with the journey.
Exactly.
Take your mom through the journey.
Let them be in the picture from the beginning.
So
you don't shock them after a long journey. Because in the end of the day, they will think, what? I raised you up for 20 years or 25. And a girl out there warn you in 20 minutes. It becomes like, they feel like you betrayed them. You know, they couldn't trust you. You did things behind them. That always let them in the picture from the beginning. In case they're very stubborn in their, at least you're not too deep into that emotional ties. Because women, if you cannot with the women especially, some of them, sometimes you can hurt them for life because they open their heart for everything and then say, oh, look, sorry, my mama and dad didn't agree, you know? And that can destroy them psychologically. So make sure before you go into this thing, you are able to manage them around. You are capable, you are a man. And a man is someone who can protect and provide somebody's daughter. You can run your life. And then you can deal with your parents because they know and you know them. Sometimes you just need to know to play the game. Don't ever confront them. You can use their emotion because they love you so much, and believe me, they give up in the long course of once they trust you.
I'll say maybe in the last question from mine, I would open the floor, inshallah Azza wa Jal. And this question regarding the access that our boys have to the other gender, the easy access, and that connected to, I would say, lower, I would advise, lower your gaze. I always say to the boys, I will do that challenge with you. I will take your phone for a month, take your phone away from you, and you have no access to the female whatsoever, looking or mixing through school or anywhere. We'll put you in an area or place only men for 1 month only. I guarantee you, you will run towards your dad and parents, I want to get married. You will run towards them, you want to get married, and you will push them hard, I want to get married as soon as possible. So the question is, with the comment, that as much we look more, as much choosing the wife become harder, selecting the wife become harder, and the selection criteria, I will say it, let me say it, it's unfair. You know what I say unfair? Now, most of our boys, or some of them, they come to me, they say, Brother Hamza, I know this non-Muslim lady, she's an Aussie, I want to, she wants to, alhamdulillah, I'm happy, I'm working on her to become a Muslim. And I want to marry her. I said, hold on a second. So you mashallah, you went and picked one of the non-Muslim to become Muslim. May Allah reward you for the job. But who's going to marry Hafsa and Khadija and Aisha and all the girls they are mashallah lining up in our community? Who's going to marry them? John and Michael? They are not going to marry them. That's right. So no, but because she looks, and then when you dig deeper, because she looks what? She looks beautiful. Of course she looks beautiful because of what? Because you have been looking like a shopping. You know, when you take you to a place and they have 1,000 different brands, different when I take you to a place only have one brand or two brands. You will mind you what? Choice. You will choose based on what? Minimum criteria. Or the minimum, you have this confusion. But now when you go in the market and you keep looking and looking and looking and looking, and wallah, no, this one more, this one less. Our question is, who's going to marry our sisters? Who's going to marry our sisters? If all of us are going to marry Sarah and other girls and what the name, who's going to marry our sisters? Think about it this way. Or do you want our girls, mashallah, all of them not married? And then, mashallah, you're going to bring all non-Muslim to become Muslim for you to get married. And then the problem is not here. The problem after you dig down and you sit down with the girl, you find Islam is what? Islam is just to the edge. Just a statement, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And the boy himself is not even ready to invest and to teach her Islam because Islam doesn't apply on him anyway. He's the one need to be taught Islam before teaching her Islam. So we need to be mindful about this. The way we look, every time you look at the girl through your phone, or physically or virtually, you need to be mindful about this. As much you look, as much you demand, I wouldn't say become harder, but your demand become unreal. It's not realistic. It's different. It has been changed. And it's going to change a lot if you keep looking. I will be honest. Everything has changed. If the girl is just a bit fatter, no one wants to marry her. If she's a bit taller, she's a bit tall. If she's a bit smaller, shorter, she's a bit short. If she's a bit darker color, she's a bit darker color. If she's not the best, honestly, the selection criteria becomes such a complicated criteria that wallahi they come to me, I can't find it. But again, I repeat the same question: who's going to marry our sisters? So Sheikh, what do you advise on this regard? Lowering the gaze, having access to the other gender, how that will change the mental, how's that will have mental impact on our youth and damage the understanding to the reality of marriage?
Yeah, first of all, my best advice to this one, be with your parents in that field, believe me.
Wow.
Stay, no matter what, you will never get a heart in this dunya, love is you like your mom and your dad. So be one of the family, because marriage is a joyful matter, and everybody in the family should be on board here. So let them know you from day one, your plans, your visions concerning the marriage, because it's not about you only. You're going to bring someone into the family. They have the right to know who is that person, but just make it in the head. But concerning the to know your gaze, sometimes we suffer because of what we see, we become confused, and we don't know what we go for desire now, not need anymore. Marriage is something we need. Food is something we need. But sometimes when we become artists in food, you can waste so much money and you never get satisfied with food. You become like a
tasty person. You like to taste.
Others, because it is something, it's just like a medicine. You only take it when you are sick, otherwise don't. But to save ourselves, to keep our heart and stay in the safe cave, the Quran gives a medicine to lower our gaze. When I look at a woman and then I see shaitan play with my eyes, turning my intention to lower your gaze. That was the purpose. Even with the girl is the same thing. But once you send it freely, even if you marry all the women of the earth you want to see, but the most beautiful woman on earth is the one you haven't seen yet. Anyone you have seen, oh, the one I didn't see must be more beautiful. So it is something we need to discipline it, what we look at, how we talk to the opposite gender. How I deal. Just remember, every woman on earth is somebody's daughter, or somebody's wife, somebody's sister, or somebody's mom. And a real man will die to protect these 4 people. So there's a lady out there, if not my daughter, somebody's daughter. If not my sister, somebody's sister. If not my wife, somebody's wife, or somebody's mom. And a real man with dignity will never invade other people's privacy. And the simple way to take it, just think about your daughter later. If you know that somebody playing with her emotion without you knowing, what will be you feeling as a father? It can even cause bloodshed sometimes.
Yeah.
This is something in the man, even in animals, except the pig. The pig, they don't have jealousy. Whoever, whenever, however, otherwise man can really destroy you because of their female sex. So you have to be very careful, but simply if you just fear Allah on other people's wives, daughters, sisters, and mothers, and become the bodyguard of the Muslim.
Lastly, Sheikh, sorry, I keep saying lastly. The advice of, I'm saying the disease of pornography. The disease of pornography addiction. If someone is addicted to pornography, I give you, I would say it bluntly, you are not going to enjoy your marriage life. You are not going to enjoy it. No way. Because after marriage, there's certain expectation you are not going to see it from a pure woman, a good woman that everyone is asking for. When it comes to marriage, everyone wants to marry. I need someone practicing. Pray 10, 20 times a day, not 5 times a day. MashaAllah, I want you to pray the whole time. The best practicing. And then, mentally, the pornography is still playing on the brain, and you expect the same from the one she's practicing. And you're not going to see that, because that's not real, that's acting. That's not real life, that's a fake life. So, Sheikh, what's your advice to those they are addicted? When I say pornography, by the way, Wallah, I classify TikTok as a pornography. And Instagram to some extent is pornography. Facebook to some extent is pornography. The normal movie that our youth, they take it lightly and they just watch it. Just between the pornography and between it's just a small piece of cloth that is covering a certain area. That's because not pornography anymore. There's nothing left. Taking each other to the bed, kissing each other, doing this and that doesn't count as a pornography because they haven't done certain things on the bed. Honestly, after seeing all of that, it's been decorated and designed for all of us to watch and not to even blink our eyes. How do you expect your marriage life to be? Like, you're gonna expect the similar things from her, which is not, you're not going to see it. You are not going to see it at all. Ask the married people, they are behind the cameras. Ask them, they are not going to. I'm saying you are not going to see it in the same way that our youth, they are describing it to us, what they want. You are not going to see that. So be authentic. Be authentic with yourself and be authentic with the person you're going to be with. So this relationship is going to be based on authenticity. Be authentic first with yourself and be honest with yourself by lowering your gaze and protect this brain not to be impacted with seeing something haram. And by the way, non-Muslim even, they are fighting it because it's destroying the whole society. We say we believe it's haram and it's a crime. It's part of zina. It's part of zina. So now if zina physically is not allowed or it's hard, now virtually become easy and accessible. It's remain as well as a level of zina, to some extent level of zina, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and that will impact our future life. So what's your message, Sheikh, regarding this pornography addiction?
Simply, as a young person, you need to keep your sperm in you as much as you can. It is the strength of your legs and the beauty of your face.
Allah.
That is the reality here. And this thing, when you addict to it, even with your own wife, anything beyond what you need becomes a poison. That's what I said, Ayman at the school, what is poison? Anything beyond what you need. It could be love, it could be hate, it could be emotion, it could be food, whatever. Beyond what you need, it is even in the halal. I'm talking about the halal. The haram is what kills us by all means. Because once you go that way, usually this about topic, it is a bit dark, and sometimes I'm looking maybe some of the kids are too little to talk about it. But anyway, just fear Allah in your privacy. And remember, if I'm not allowed to look at somebody, woman's face, with a dirty desire, what about her aura? Believe me, Islam is a filter. Use Islam to filter your life, your mind, the way you think, what you look and what you don't look at, what you say, what you do. Islam is the best filter. And the more you become busy with that, the Quran, every ayah in it, it helps you live up to your standard, to just become a real student of Islam. Because sometimes we read a lot about Islam, but we don't digest what we are reading. We're traveling, read and we start teaching, but every ayah in the Quran, believe me, Allah revealed it for a purpose. You just need to live up to this ayah, step by step, automatically. It will force you into salat, because the Quran, when you read it, you have no choice but to submit. And the best way to submit is the salat. And what salat does? وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى al-munkar. It is the best medication. Be with Allah like this, everything becomes so small. And you go for what you need, what you want. Because what we want is unlimited, but what we need is necessity. But simply, morally, when we lose our moral compass, we see in the West, why they start marrying men to men? Because they are fed up with women. Because from that age, sex, and you name it, become like they're bored. And things are nice only when we limit it with the break of Islam. Islam does not forbid things, organize it for us. But sometimes we want to enjoy what we need for 50 years, we want to enjoy it in 20 years. And many young people, by the time they're 20, they tried everything with Islam.
The hikmah of the ghusl, subhanallah. What the ghusl? Whenever the semen comes out of the body, we must take a shower, that's right? Which is described in the fiqh term, we call it ghusl, which is covering all of our body with the water. Okay? But subhanallah, look, it's a sort of, whenever the hikmah, the wisdom out of it. Of course, we don't question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His orders. Whatever He bestowed upon us, we take it the way it is. But look at the wisdom behind it. It's not every time someone having a relationship with his wife, whenever he wants, at a time he wants. By the way, in Australia it's easy. But back home, people used to counter because of what they need to boil the water. Wait for the fire. And if it's cold, it's very hard. It's very challenging. So it's subhanAllah, they give the person self-control, even after marriage. But as he mentioned, become what? Become poison. If it's just a matter of do it whenever you want, subhanAllah, the wisdom, one of the scholars said, the wisdom of the ghusl is to control it. One of the wisdom is to control. to control what? Even your desire, even within the halal itself. So you can see the balance the Muslim live. And the same, having children. You stay around 40 days. During the period of a woman, you cannot have a relationship with. All of that is to control the relationship. It's not about a relationship just the first year. It's not the first year where the person stay with his wife, but it's a long journey. It can be balanced and control that you live and enjoy it till the end of your life. You live it and enjoy it till the end of your life. So inshallah we'll open the floor for the questions.
No, I'm just asking. I'm gonna ask you a question, which I saw as a fact, right? Because I'm 46. I saw a lot of young people, even my relatives, grew up in a Western world. Which is, I guess this part came from the kuffars, I would say, the more Western mentality towards the young generation. It's about two C's: commitment